All right, YouTube is streaming too. Configuring a couple of things. Okay. Looks like we're live. Boing. Hey, Dayloop. So, trying out Nix for the first time in my life. Reason being is that I'm working on a portable Devcontainer setup. And I was relying on Brew, but I realized that Brew is not supported on ARM-based chips when you're running them in Linux. So I need to find a solution for that. And one of them is Nix. Might not be the best solution, but it is something. I've been interested in Nix for a long time. It has been recommended to me many, many times. So it was just a matter of time until I started looking into it. And now it seems like I have an interesting use case for it. So just gonna try it out. It's completely fresh to me. I have no idea what I'm gonna be doing. So let's just go for it. These sections contain series of lessons to get started. Okay, first steps. Everything starts with the first steps. This tutorial series is where you should start learning Nix. In these lessons, you'll use basic Nix commands You'll also learn reading the Nix language. And later use it to build portable, reproducible development environments. This does look like exactly what I'm looking for. Let's see. Yeah, it is the package manager, not the OS. Not yet, at least. I'm trying to go for the package manager first, and who knows where it's going to lead. And I needed to check my YouTube here because my chat is not completely syncing to my chat that I have on my iPad here, apparently. So I have to switch back and forth sometimes. So in a Nix shell environment, you can immediately use any program packaged with Nix without installing it permanently. You can also share the command invoking such a shell with others. And it will work on all Linux distributions, WSL and macOS. Wow. So you can share the command with others. Yeah. Once you install Nix, you can use it to create new shell environments with programs you want to use. Yeah, so install Nix. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna do everything from in a container. Devpod lists. So I have a devpod. And this container basically is just it's just the Debian base image. And it's just this, I'm going to delete it actually. Devbot, delete. It's just the base image, nothing else installed in there yet, but it is pulling in my dot files. Devbot up dot. Oops. Devbot up dot provider docker. So as you see here, this devbot is pulling in my dot files from my devbot repo. And so now I have a clean. Oh, it persisted my storage here. Why did it do that? Devbot delete Debian. Devbot up dot provider docker and reset. All right, so to install Nix, yeah, Kause is exotic, yeah. Chat. Can I open this chat just only, or do I have to watch myself every time I switch to the chat? That's a bit annoying. Let's see. Copy this URL. If I just, yeah, now I just see the chat, so maybe I should just paste that into my iPad here. Okay, hopefully this will forward the chats. So let's start with installing Nix. Install via the recommended multi-user installation or Docker. But this, oh no, of course not. I'm going to be using a dev container, and there is a dev container feature for that. So containers.dev/features Nix. So this will be the Nix package manager feature. And if I add this to my devcontainer.json, I will have dev containers available. So here's my dev container specification. And then if I just add this one here. If I now rebuild it, then it will install Nix for me. Dev put up. Dot provider docker recreate. So it's going to rebuild my entire container. And when I have Nix in there, oh, I can even give it the packages here. That's nice. I'm thinking of using my setup script to pull in my dot files, but maybe I can also use this to have my packages. It's very repo specific then though, but so when we have installed Nix, then it suggests I take a look at Causa. Nix shell p. It will pull in the packages. And then you can run Causa. Let's try that. Oh, it's still building my container because I had to recreate it. So in here you will enter a shell with the packages installed, and then when you exit the shell they won't be there anymore. Oh, this looks really nice. I'm excited about this. Okay, it's installing Nix. All right. So I'm in my dev container now and it should have Nix. So let's test out if I have Causa, command not found. And then we will open a Nix shell with Causa and lolcat. Yeah, so it's now a Nix shell. And then I can use the Causa and lolcat commands. Okay, that's a really cool concept that you can just run a shell with some packages that you want to try and exit it. Because now Causa, hello. Now Causa is not available to me anymore. I'm loving Nix already. Then you can run it directly from a Nix shell. Really nice. Search for packages. What can you put in a shell environment? If you can think of it, there's probably a Nix package of it. Git nvim npm. So enter the program one. Yeah, so here this is the search, and if I want to have Flux, then here you have all of the packages containing Flux. Cool. Yeah, let's check out nvim. So Neovim has its own package here in Nix. It's defined here, editors neovim default.nix. And here it will also have a version, 094. And what is the version I have locally? Neovim version. My local version is 095, so it is a little bit behind, interestingly. But it could be fun to contribute to Nix by submitting PRs for version upgrades. That's actually a nice way to contribute. Run any combination of programs. So once you have the package name, you can start with a shell with those packages. So this is really nice. So in the Nix shell, we are now opening Git, Neovim, and Node.js. So we basically have a full dev environment based on a command. So which Git? Yeah, so it's all stored in the Nix store, which Neovim. So if I open nvim, then already it is picking up the dot files that I have in my configuration. This is cool. So in my dot files, I specify that I need lazy vim. So just by having Nix available in my dev container, I can install Vim in the local shell. And now I have nvim in my container already. This is cool. So I'm going out of the Nix shell now. And if I now run nvim, it won't find it. Okay. Towards reproducibility. These shell environments are convenient, but the examples so far are not reproducible yet. Yeah, but it is handy to be able to just try out a program in a shell. Yeah, reproduce. Yeah, this is what I want. A reproducible example would, yeah. So this creates a fully reproducible. You can run it anywhere, anytime to obtain this exact same version of Git. So you do the Nix shell, with the package git and run this command with a specific hash. Yeah. Pure discards most environment variables set on your system when running the shell. It means that only the git provided by Nix is available in that shell. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the next step is reproducible interpreted scripts. Use Nix for reproducible scripts. Take the following script, which fetches the content of XML of a URL, converts it to JSON, and formats it for better readability. It requires curl JQ. It also requires the bash interpreter. With Nix, we can declare all dependencies explicitly and produce a script that will always run on any machine that supports Nix. Ah, so you point the script to a Nix shell. Yeah, that's nice. Create a file with Nix packages releases with the following content. And I'm not going to add the -h extension because that is a big no-no according to the Google standards. Make it executable. So the first line is a standard shebang. The additional shebang lines are Nix-specific construct. Let's see. We specify bash as the interpreter for the rest of the file with the I option. Okay, so you're running the Nix shell using bash as an interpreter. And then it will open a Nix shell with these packages. And it also strips away environment variables and points to specific git. Yeah, okay, I'm getting it. Yeah. So it's executable, and if I now run it, brave step. Nix is an entirely different way to do Linux. Yeah. Well, I feel I'm ready for it. Like I'm now looking into dev pods and portable dev environments, and Nix just seems the perfect solution for that. Yep, here we go. Our script worked. So that's really cool. That's really cool. Then the next step is the Nix language basics. The Nix language is designed for conveniently creating and composing derivations, precise descriptions of how contents of existing files are used to derive new files. Let's rewind. The Nix language is designed for conveniently creating and composing derivations, precise descriptions of how contents of existing files are used to derive new files. Okay. So you're taking existing files and creating new files out of those. It's a domain-specific, purely functional, lazily evaluated, dynamically typed programming language. Wow, it's an entire language of itself. Yeah, so I'm mostly interested in the Nix packages now, but who knows? Maybe I will go towards Nix OS. I mean, I'm intrigued now. So you can fully declaratively configure your Linux distribution based on a Nix language. Phew, that's really cool. You may quickly encounter Nix language expressions that look very complicated. As with any programming language, the required amount of Nix language code closely matches the complexity of the problem it's supposed to solve. Yeah, so my use case is I want to just install a few packages in a dev pod. That's all I want to do. So I don't have to go very deep into this, but I can just glance over this and take from it what I need. This tutorial should enable you to read typical Nix language code and understand its structure. Yeah, okay. So this is for actually learning the entire Nix language. Will probably take me about an hour, but I don't think I need to. Yeah. I don't have to go into the Nix language. I mean, it is insane though. It is an entire programming language. Super cool. But this is way more than I need. I just need a list of packages and I need to install those with Nix. Definitely interested in going deeper into this though. So packaging existing software. That I also don't need to do that. Like in the on the beginning page here it says here reproducible development environments. That is basically what I'm interested in here. Let's see. Install Nix. I saw there was a page about Nix where they talked explicitly about installing the packages. Declarative builds and deployments, yeah. Nix packages. Basic package management, URL not found. Oh, that's a shame. I think that sounds like what I wanted to do though. Package management. I had this guide install Nix Neovim. Here, this is it. Home Manager has a module for Neovim, so that's with a, some sort of addition to the Nix package manager. But if you do not use Home Manager, you can use the following code in your Nix OS configuration. So this is just for the Nix OS. You can also manually add Neovim to your packages. So the question then is, how do I install a package on the Linux level? Because here I would be in a Nix shell, but how do I use Nix to install a package on the normal bash shell level? There's a great guide online called Zero to Nix. You should check it out. Okay. Zero to Nix. Your guide to learning Nix and flakes. This looks really good. Create a development environment. Okay. Let's see. Explore Nix development environment. Nix develop. Yeah, okay. So this would start also starts a new shell. But what I'm interested in is like my dot files contain a script, and I want this script sets up my bash RC and so forth inside of my dev container. And I was using brew to install certain packages into that Linux environment. But though they are installed in like the actual normal bash shell. But I'm wondering if I have to run everything inside of the Nix shell if I choose to go for Nix in this example or in this application. Yeah, this uses Nix develop, but I want to use devpod. Let's see, using Nix packages. Here, declarative package management. I think this is what I need. Using package overrides, it is possible to manage packages declaratively. This means that we can list all of our desired packages within a declarative Nix expression. Ah, okay. So this looks interesting. So it looks like this is what I'm looking for here. You have this in your config, so I can use that in my setup script. I'm already like adding bash RC and things like that. Then I can have the list of packages that I want in the .files repo. And then the setup script can run this command. So let's try this out then. Let's see. So I have my .config, and then we would create a Nix packages directory. And in there will be a config.nix. And this will contain the packages that I want to install. So deleting all of that. What I want is Neovim and I don't know. Let's try some packages. Let's see, Nix packages. Nix OS search, here we go. So Neovim. Here, Neovim. And another one is going to be kubectl, for example. So to install in your environment, you can run nixenv ia my packages. So now it has installed kubectl. And it is available in my profile. And nvim is also okay. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. I'm just planning to use Nix. I'm basically replacing brew to install packages declaratively. Yeah, I think this is how I can do it, because now my nvim works. Okay. So in my setup script then, I am going to comment out everything of brew. And then I'm going to make the Nix directory in the config home. Nix packages. And then there will be a config.nix in my config.nix over here. So in here I will then have a config.nix containing the file that I just created. Cat config here. So these are the packages that I want. Okay. Let's give it a little bit better name instead of my packages. It will be coding. I don't know. I'll just call it coding. So the packages that I had were fd, ripgrep, Starship. All of those I want to have in my dev container. So Starship. Neovim, Starship. FD, ripgrep, are those available? FD, ripgrep. And LazyGit. Let's start with those. So I have these in my file. And then the setup script will run here, nix env my packages. Install defined Nix packages from so going over it one more time. Yeah. So if I run the setup script now, did it? Oh, it has to be in Nix packages. It's in the wrong directory. It's not in the home directory, it's in the xtg config home directory. So here we go, installing coding. Unable to build profile. There's a conflict for the following files. This is probably because I have multiple package environments now. So at least I know it works in terms of okay, so I'm just gonna add this. No, I don't want to commit my changes to the Neovim directory. So how do I? There we go. Git commit m try moving to Nix. So I'm going to push that. Then I'm going to go out of my dev container. Devbot delete Debian, and I'm going to completely rebuild it. Then devbot up. So I'm gonna now is the big test basically. Now I'm recreating the entire container. It's installing my Nix packages. From the file that I created. So that's working. And if I then do devbot ssh Debian, Then, let's see. One of the things I see that Starship is here already from the prompt. But now Nix should have installed Neovim. So let's try that. Yep. Wow, it works. Neovim is starting. It works. Hello there, OX9. Nice to see you. This is exactly what I wanted. I figured it out. I figured it out. I can use Nix to install packages from a list instead of brew. This is cool. This is really cool. Okay, this is the configuration that I want. I know for sure now. My stream volume is low. Yeah, that might be because of my microphone. Like, is it too low? I mean, I could increase the volume on my thing here. Like this. Is this better? How is the volume now? Let me know if it's too loud or if it's better or worse. It's better. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. So when I'm opening my config.nix, let's see, will it show me any, it doesn't recommend me anything about Nix, but can I install the Nix language server? Let's see, Mason. Nix packages format. I recently come across your channel. Today I wanted to follow your home lab live videos and noticed they are not beginner friendly and not properly ordered. No, that's right. So these live streams, I'm just basically working and talking and showing what I do, but there's no structure to it at all. If you want a more structured approach, I highly recommend you check out my Skool community. I have a 11-hour course where I start your Kubernetes home lab journey from scratch. And I now have I have the fundamentals there where you learn everything about Kubernetes and how to run it on a local environment. And I'm building on that course to basically teach you how to create a Kubernetes home lab. So if you're interested in it, I highly suggest you check out my Skool community. So it looks like my config code here seems fine. And actually I'm gonna I'm gonna call it Misha tools. How about that? So what other packages am I gonna need? Like this is going to be the universal package list that I'm going to be pulling into all of my dev containers. So I want Neovim, Starship, FD, ripgrep, lacygit, kubectl. I want K9s in there too. K9s here. So that one I can have. And I wanted the Flux CD. I want Flux in there too, Flux CD. Quite the pace pumping out videos and courses. Yeah, thank you. I'm working 12, 14 hours a day. 8 hours of work, 4 hours of content creation, and now I'm relaxing on a Sunday learning Nix. This is my way of relaxing. But yeah, I think this will be a list that I want to carry with me. So I'm gonna clean that up, and then also I can clean up my brew packages. So Misha Tools, I like that name better. I added K9s and Flux CD, and I remove this. So feed move to Nix. And devpod delete Debian. And I'm also going to delete my devpod delete. Going to delete my home lab dev container. And I'm going to migrate my home lab dev container to a different one. Let's see. Make the dev contain. Well, no. CPR. Lab. Dev containers. Debian. Dev container. To here. So I'm okay. So now my home lab repo now my dev home lab repo has these dev container files. Yep. Add Nix. Add Debian dev container. In your Homeland videos, you already set up your Ubuntu. If you can make a video setting up Ubuntu or any other Linux distro, that would be great. Yeah, I am going to do a course about setting up Ubuntu and K3s in virtual machines. That's going to be the next part in my Home Lab course series. Okay, so I've now added my new dev container to my Home Lab repo, and I want to be running that on my local system. So now if I do devpod up dot and then provider docker, then it will create the dev container based on this repo. It's installing all of the Nix packages. All right, devpod ssh into my Home Lab container. So if I then open Neovim, it will install everything. So I'm now in a completely fresh environment, running in a container on my MacBook, installing all of the packages that I defined in Nix. LazyVim is updated. Oh wow, there's a frustrating timeout now in my Starship, interestingly. Let's see. There are some things not completely working yet. So check health. So what else? Tree-sitter executable not found. That's a problem. Node executable not found. That's a problem. Okay. Okay, so there are some things missing here, but that's the challenge. I'm now in a Nixified environment. I just need to define what the packages are that are missing. Fail to install Go, please. So it's probably missing Go then. So if I go to Lazy Extras now, it will suggest I install YAML. Fail to install Go, please. Fail to install YAML ls. So what's that about? Mason log. Let's see. Go is not executable. NPM is not executable. So apparently I'm missing the Go and NPM binaries. So those are ones that I am going to need in my environment. So Go. So it's probably going to be Go and Node.js that I need to add to my package list. So these will be on top. Go and npm. So that will be Node.js 22, because those are needed for installing Neovim. So let's run the setup script again. So now we have npm and Go. Let's try again. Now it's installing Go, please. That's good. And YAML ls is also installed. So I'm now able to install lazy extras. So YAML ls is now active. Great. I'm a little bit annoyed that my Starship prompt is... It's a little bit laggy. So what is that about? If I'm in my root directory, there is absolutely no lag. But as soon as I enter my workspace, it probably has to do with Git then. It did say something about Git, didn't it? Here. Executing command user local bin git timed out. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you think it's valuable. So, some conclusions so far on Nix. Like I went into this because I have a very specific use case, and that is that I need to install a list of packages in Devcontainers. That's all that I want to do. I just want to have a list of packages that it needs to install. And now I have that. It's working. But I was almost at a point just now already where I was thinking like, oh my God, this is way too much, way too complicated. And in a way, like it is extremely complicated. I had no idea that Nix went so deep as this. I just thought it would be an a replacement for brew, but this is just brew on steroids times 1,000, and it's freaking awesome. But it's also very intimidating, for sure. I'm happy that I have this specific use case, and I'm very much interested in this. I definitely want to learn more about this, but I'm just going to focus on my very niche use case specifically. But I am a little bit dissatisfied with the fact that there is this 1 second timeout when I do an ls in my Git repo here. And that's because of Starship. So if I comment out Starship, so I'm not using Starship, and now it's just blazing fast. So there's a problem with Starship and how it's treating the Git repository. And it has probably to do with the binaries for Git in my system here, in my container. Because if I'm here in my home lab repo, like there's absolutely no problem on my local machine to have Starship on, so there's no problem with the actual Git configuration. If I re-enable Starship and I'm going out of the container and going back into it again, now Starship is going to complain again. Executing command user local bin git timed out. And why is there a lock? Why is there a lock on this thing? Starship lock. Starship prompt. So this is the prompt. And then there is this lock symbol there. Print timings. Starship print timings. Okay, so git status is taking a long time. Here, fatal. Detected dubious ownership in repository at Workspace's home lab. This is the problem. Detected dubious ownership in repository. What the hell is that? Hmm. So CD workspaces. It's owned by Dialout. What the heck is that about? This one is called by root. This one is owned by Dialout. Okay, so now the git, by running this git config command, it is quick again, but there's a problem with how this dev pod is then cloning my repo apparently. But at least I have a workaround. Okay, this is going quicker again. This works. Okay. Cool. So this was the dev pod running on my local Docker. Now let's try running it on my Kubernetes cluster. So now if I do dev pod up dot, deleting the old one. And if I do a dev pod up now, it should run it on the default provider, which is my Kubernetes cluster. Yeah. And as it's doing that, I'm going to go to the bathroom. How long have I been streaming for? 1.5 hours. So I am going to write a few notes now. Let's see. Um, these can all go to my public Saddlecasten. And I wonder, like this whole dev container thing is becoming a real bit of a fascination for me. So I'm wondering if I should have this as a separate topic, or if I should, like, or is Nix a separate topic in itself? It basically is. Nix is probably going to become a full new obsession of mine. So let's just create a new map of content for that. So let's see. Nix is much more powerful than I thought. Expecting it to be a slightly better brew. This my first exposure to Nix has been mind-blowing. Basically, it has been mind-blowing. I'm glad I found out I'm glad I figured out how to install packages from a list and stay with that, because Nix can do so much more. It even has a fully fledged programming language. So it is fascinating, really. And let's see, installing packages with Nix. So what I did was, this could actually be a blog post, really. Maybe I should just write a blog post about this. So the dev pod is now installing my Nix packages. So everything is now installed in my dev pod. So dev pod SSH home lab. Here I am, Starship. Interestingly, there is no problem with the Starship prompt here now. So which kubectl is there? Kubectl is there. And then Neovim is there too. So Neovim can just install and do its thing. Yeah, maybe I'll just write a little blog post. So blog Z. Installing packages in Devcontainers with Nix. Linux. Dev environments is going to be a new tag. No parser for Markdown language. Okay. Today I've been obsessed with dev containers and dev pods recently. And I'm learning a lot about portable dev environments. This is truly the next level of config management and the future of dev environments, in my opinion. I relied on Brew as my package manager. However, I ran into problems when I wanted to run my Linux dev containers on my M2 Silicon Mac. Linux Brew is not supported on ARM architecture. There is a little bit of frustrating delay in my terminal. I think I need to restart my terminal. So let's get out of here, get out of here. My TMUX session is almost 4 days old, so let's just have a clean start. Open TMUX. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Sometimes you just need to refresh your terminal. So, Linux Brew not supported on ARM architecture. Then use case. All I need to do is install a list of packages into a Linux container. I was using Brew because I need to install packages like K9s and Flux, which are sometimes not available in registries in the Linux, in the stand, what is it called? The normal repositories. My current devpod setup contains a setup script which defines, after some tinkering with Nix, I managed to solve my problem. Nix packages. So what I've done is devpod SSH. Hey, why is my... Oh, I didn't add the... Oh, that's dumb. Yeah, I didn't add Go. And what was the other one? Was it Node.js? Here, Node.js 22, that's it. Node.js 22. Okay, this is my setup script. It sets up the Nix packages directory and the config.nix. Ooh, that's ugly. Let's see. There. Sets up the Nix file and the config.nix. The config.nix contains the packages I want to install. And finally the command installs all of the packages into my environment. My pandoc is not rendering correctly. That's annoying. I must have done something wrong. Oh well. Okay, so this is going to be the blog post. Blog reset. Let's preview it. Okay. Been obsessed with Devcontainers and DevPass recently, learning a lot about portable dev environments. Yeah. I relied on Brew as my package manager. All I need to do is install a list of packages into a Linux container. I was using Brew. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I want to convey in that blog post. Then I'll just include the links to my devpod files. I was lucky to find this in the Nix documentation, and I'm mostly writing this for myself because I want to be able to find this again when I return to Nix sometime. Let's see. Not this one. Not this one. Yes, still using Hugo for my blog. That's right. Here, declarative package management. That is the golden URL here. Had I not found this particular heading, I think I would have been lost in the weeds. But Nix has definitely piqued my interest, and I look forward to learn more about it. Okay. The link also works. No, this is not. This isn't even the heading that I wanted. So what is the heading? It's not this one. It's not this one. Oh, I hope I can find it. Here, this is it. Build an environment. This is the one. Declarative package management. Here. Nix packages table. That's it. This is the one. Okay. So, review the blog post. That's it. Okay, cool. Now I'm also wondering, can I pin this to a particular version? Maybe that would be interesting to figure out. Let's see. Using Nix, can I pin these to particular versions? Okay, so then you have to go deep. No, that's fine. Now it's just using the latest. That's probably fine for now. Especially not needed in this blog post. So, let's publish it. Blog pub. Nix. And let's tweet that. Nix, NixOS, Linux, coding. My theme looks pleasant. Thank you very much. It has been unchanged for a year. Can I use it to my local dot files instead of brew? I think you can. I'm using it in a dev container fashion now, but on my Mac I'm just going to continue using brew. I'm not going to overcomplicate things. Knowing you a little bit, Mikola, I think if you're happy with brew, especially for local environment, then I wouldn't go and dig into this too much, because Nix is a huge rabbit hole. I figured out that much already. Like I have found this very particular use case of it, but even this document is just huge, right? And that's just the Nix packages. I mean, look at this whole document. Declarative package management. I was so lucky to find this because it doesn't even have this in the table of contents here. What is declarative package management under? Here, global configuration. That is not a very... I was so lucky to find this heading, but now it works. Spent like 1 hour to set up my new Mac from scratch with all my configs with brew and bash. Yeah, I mean, 1 hour, that's not much. I think you're going to spend a lot of hours to get it to work with Nix. But it's a fun thing to dive into, that's for sure. I definitely want to learn more about Nix. in the time to come. But for now, I'm happy that I did this, that I have this use case, and I'm also going to be using these ad hoc shell environments. That's also very interesting, that you can just open a shell with a few packages you want to try out, and when you're done, then they're just gone. That's just super handy. So I'm definitely going to be using Nix more. Okay, but now I have a fully functional dev environment straight from Nix. Gonna add these packages here too. Add Go and Node.js. Push those. And let's see, cd workspaces home lab. This is my home lab container. So if I now find a deployment.yaml and I do lazy extras, then it's going to suggest I install lang YAML. So I will do that. Okay, so now I have my YAML ls installed, and I have my home lab dev environment running inside of a pod on my home lab Kubernetes cluster. This is so freaking cool. And it's all working really well. No delays, nothing. Working very smoothly. Yeah, I'm super happy with this. All right. Well, that was my exploration of NixOS of today. Well, not NixOS, but just nix.dev. But man, this is a huge rabbit hole. There's just so much you can do with this. Like, it is off the hook. One thing I did notice, like I'm pulling in these like here I'm pulling in here I'm pulling in Flux CD, right? And in the Nix package search, if I then look for Flux CD and look at the source, the version is 2.1.2. And I want that to be, because on my local system, Flux version is 2.2.3. But in order to update that, I would have to submit a pull request probably. So how difficult would that be to update this? Contributing to Nix packages. Let's see, contributing. quick start to adding a package. No, we don't need that. Patches. Submitting changes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you fork it, you then create a new branch, make the desired changes. It would be fun to commit a pull request though for this. Seems like that it is a bit of I would have to sit down and take an hour to read through it properly, because if you do a pull request, you want to do it properly. But let's see, how is this, what do these look like? Basically, it's just updating the hash and the version, and these are done by people basically. All of these are done by people. This is cool. This is a good way to contribute to open source, actually. I mean, it's just updating the version and the hashes. So it shouldn't be too difficult. That will be a fun thing to do next stream. Let's check out. I'm going to keep an eye on the Flux package in NixOS, and I'm going to see if I can try to contribute and to update it to the latest version. All right. Well, my mom is coming over for a cup of tea in half an hour, so I'm going to stop the stream and stretch my legs for a bit, and then maybe I'll do some more streaming today. I'm not sure. But thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope if you want to read a summary of what I did today, check out my blog. If you want to learn more from me, check out my Skool community. I would love to have you there. And see you in the next one, guys.